an AMA presentation with NvirWorld, and we have our guest, Mr. Justin, who will be giving us some very vital information about the project. So, guys, have it in mind that this is not a financial advice, of course, NvirWorld. The link to the website is currently pinned in Crypto Attack Telegram community. Make sure to go over the announcement. You would find all the links currently pinned there. And for the sake of those who are currently listening over the Binance Live, of course, admin will be doing some presentations as our guests will be giving us some very vital answers to the questions that will be coming from my end. And we'll also be touching on some other questions subsequently within the course of the presentation. So, guys, make sure to do your research, check the website, and also if you have any more questions that may not really revolve around the questions that we will be asking within the course of this session, do well to send your question to NvirWorld Telegram community. They do have moderators who would answer your question. With that being said, do well to follow them on X Space and also on all their socials. Download their white paper to get more details about the project. So, Mr. Justin, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, how's it going? I think we are back again with the AMA. It's been a while, yeah? It's been perhaps like 3 months or maybe even 4 since we last have the chat. But I'm really excited to be back with you guys to talk more about NvirWorld as well as myself. Yeah, so maybe I could actually kickstart with a brief introduction about myself first. So my name is Justin and I'm the global CEO of NvirWorld. Yeah. And I would like to introduce our project. So in short, we are a launchpad as well as, we are building something really exciting in the upcoming months, which is releasing our own L2 rollup. Yeah, so that's like a brief description of myself as well as NvirWorld, but happy to dive in deeper.
All right, it's actually quite nice to have you here, Mr. Justin. Just like you said, we are having you here for the second time, and I'm sure that you guys have actually made a lot of development within the course of that interval. So you're welcome once again, and it's actually a privilege to have you here to tell us about NvirWorld in person. So I heard that NvirWorld will be launching, its launchpad in L2, in the near future. So is it possible if the team could, give us a walkthrough, if the team could walk through the materials, with our community?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, so let me just like share screen if that's possible. Yeah, give me 1 second. All right. Is my screen clear? Just want to check with you
Yeah,
guys.
it's very clear. We can see it
All
from
right.
here.
Sounds perfect. All right, let me just kickstart with, the materials that my team has actually prepared for, the upcoming NvirWorld revamp as well as launch. So essentially, we are actually embarking on a very collective exploration of this innovation and decentralization that blockchain technology has presented to us. And for my discussion today, I would actually like to narrow it down to the current status as well as vision of NvirWorld, of which we are a platform that aims to rewrite the content and application layer with interoperability as well as modularity. So basically, what's like the underlying problem right now is the fact that you know when we talk about blockchain technology itself, right, especially within the infrastructure layer, a lot of development has been done, and over the past couple of years, all these products have been phenomenal. But with regards to the content and application landscape itself, we are still pretty much seeing the dominance by your traditional centralized tech giants. So I'm pretty sure everyone here in this AMA today, we are constantly exposed to our social media as well as gaming applications in our daily lives. For example, scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, or sending messages on Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, and whatnot. Orders are somewhat centralized. And so, even though the experience behind using all these applications have been pretty seamless and convenient, we know for a fact that all this centralized content and application networks might exert increasing control over user freedom as well as content visibility, which ultimately undermines your user experience. And this highlight the need for an urgent alternatives to solve this problem. So moving on to my next slide, I want to talk about this vision that at NvirWorld we truly believe. This vision with regards to your sufficient decentralization for content and application. So the term itself, sufficient decentralization was actually first proposed by the Farcaster team that has actually raised like $30 million in their 2022 fundraising round, led by A16Z Crypto. So in short, sufficient decentralization implies the fact that, decentralization in content and application does not necessarily mean that the entire network has to be on-chain because it is very costly, it is impractical due to the vast amount of data being generated annually. So I would say that the implementation of a hybrid system might be more of a viable option via the employment of on-chain system as well as off-chain system for improved user experience. Ultimately, the on-chain system is to gear towards ownership decentralization. And with the increasing validation of this belief, as we have seen the success of Farcaster in the recent year, NvirWorld actually also hopes to onboard the next generation social-centric and gaming applications on our own launchpad and incubate all these nascent projects to leverage on our layer 2 rollup that would potentially harness both interoperability as well as modularity. Yep. So NvirWorld itself has been working on NWS, which is the content and application-centric launchpad and incubator of NvirWorld in the last couple of months. So to us, community first is obviously the first and core tenet of NWS that will serve as a key blockchain hub, connecting our holders, our platform, as well as early stage content and application-centric projects. So NvirWorld would actually like to invite, builders in the space to submit projects to us, where we'll evaluate and shortlist the best projects. And at the same time, we have been working with a lot of partners in the ecosystem, for potential project pipeline to ultimately onboard these projects on our platform for fundraising campaigns. So some of our key partners, include OpenFloat, which is a Barcelona-based gaming infrastructure platform, AGI, a AI blockchain mainnet that will be released, in the next perhaps like not too sure when, but next couple of years. Something I'm super excited about because that AGI startup itself actually has more than 100 like NVIDIA A100 machines. So I think they are ready to power up the entire ecosystem. And with regards to this launchpad, we have adopted a very equitable approach via our tier-based allocation mechanism for our token holders, stakers to benefit concurrently. And at the end of the day, they'll be eligible for IDOs determined by the tier system, especially for those who participate in staking and farming activities. Yeah, so with regards to the launchpad, in terms of the technology itself, it will be, the underlying technology will be actually this smart contract, whereby we have a very comprehensive solution to manage the token staking, token sales, as well as distribution process in a very fair and decentralized manner via a tier-based allocation mechanism. Yeah, so recently we have undergone the CertiK auditing process for our proprietary code. And for more information, please check out our GitHub materials. I wouldn't spend too much time working over this. Yeah, so with regards to the Launchpad participation, it is a very simple process. So essentially, if you want to have access to the best projects in the blockchain industry, feel free to take part in our staking pools, especially for, current NVIR token and NWX NFT holders. And upon staking, you'll be rewarded with this whitelist. So it is based on a tier-based mechanism whereby the more you stake, the more whitelist or probability of you getting this whitelist will be higher. And upon passing through this like KYC verification, you'll be allowed to participate in IDO, given that certain jurisdictions do not actually allow their citizens to participate in such activities. So we are very cautious on our part as well. And then finally, we will have the token distribution completed to those who actually successfully took part in the IDO, and then that will be distributed via our smart contract. Yeah, so another thing that I'm super excited about is our incubator program. So once again, for the launchpad, we are targeting, later stage projects, but for incubation, we are targeting, early stage companies whereby we want to share our operational expertise such that all these, projects will be able to grow from zero to hero as well, and ultimately onboard their project either on our launchpad or the Enroll Layer 2 rollup. Yeah, so I want to actually walk you guys through a recent case study that we did. So it is a social fi project that we helped to incubate, and ultimately it was a social networking platform to gather your global phantoms around the world, such that both Web 2 and Web 3 users can converge to participate in fan-driven initiatives. And at the heart of this challenge, we have at the heart of this project, we have this challenge whereby we get users to participate in voting schemes whereby they can vote for their favorite artist and whatnot, favorite actress, actor in very popular TV series across the world. So metrics wise, we did great for the project itself. Were pretty they were struggling to get users at the start, but via NvirWorld's expertise, we were able to help them garner 1.3 million users at the end of the day. This number is not updated, but the user metric was really strong. And, because of NvirWorld's expertise in terms of operational knowledge and know-how, we were able to guide this project to success. Yeah, so at the end of the day, the reason why we are doing NWS is also to provide our Envir token holders as well as the participants of our ecosystem this avenue for native token buyback and burn. So via our NWS, we will be able to receive, 0.5% to let's say 5% of, profits from these projects. And 100% of this net profits will then be used for Enver token buyback and burn at the end of the day to create this deflationary impact on our token itself. Yes. And then these are our ecosystem partners. Really excited to have them on board with us for this launchpad initiative. Yeah, I wouldn't take too much time walking through this. Yeah, so something that I'm super excited about is this Enver L2 rollup. So before that, I kind of want to give everyone a brief walkthrough with regards to the current landscape in the network graph. So developers actually are gradually building across several clusters of interconnected ecosystem. And at the end of the day, if you are standalone right now, it would only exacerbate inaccessibility in a very complex cross-chain vision. So as seen, the dynamics from 2020 have been very different from 2023, of which the 0x ecosystem here has gained substantial progress in achieving this vision of interoperability. Yeah, so next I want to introduce the Enver L2 rollup. So this is how the current state of, OP stack dominant L2 rollup looks like. So, we obviously started from Ethereum, but there were challenges in Ethereum just because, in terms of throughput, it was pretty limited. And I'm sure everyone remembers like back in like 2021 when there was this NFT craze going on, gas fees were crazy on Ethereum. And then later on, we have seen the surfacing of many L2 rollups, which have helped with, the scalability. And optimistic rollup itself was another technology that was being introduced pretty much in the last bull cycle, whereby we had optimistic rollup as well as like ZK rollup, these two technology competing with each other. And ultimately, some of the adopters of this optimistic rollup was actually optimism itself. And with the success of optimism, they decided to deploy OP stack such that they have this vision that everyone should be building via this one super chain. So they released OP Stack with a very comprehensive technical document and invited developers and builders to actually, build their own L2 on the OP stack. So, serving as the bedrock, we have seen OP stack serving a lot of like huge clients lately. So I think Coinbase Base was one of the first L2 rollup that actually used OP stack. And then later on, that was followed by BNB as well. Yeah. So in terms of the selection of, OP stack, I thought the primary reason was that we wanted things to be more flexible. So that was pretty interesting as well. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, we want to have this flexibility for our own development just because we believe that, these days, especially in crypto and blockchain, things move very fast. And on each every day, almost every day, you would actually see new development in the space. So let's say OP Stack itself, they have this like replaceable data availability layer of which we can actually deploy different DA schemes. So that is very exciting. And one DA scheme that is super popular right now that is being adopted by a lot of, rollup developers is actually Celestia. So that is something that we are potentially looking at as well. Yeah, so to give a brief architecture framework of NVIR L2 or rollup. So this is like a brief walkthrough whereby, based on the submission of transaction batches generated by the rollup, it will be passed on to the main Ethereum chain and then optimistic assumptions for validity verification, which allows for faster transactions and whatnot. And later on, we'll be able to onboard, more users and DApps from our NWS pipeline or via our ecosystem partners. Yeah, so the reason why that we chose OPSec is also because of this open ecosystem. So via the super chain that OPSec aims to build later on, or rather to create within their vision, it actually allows for horizontal scalability. So instead of like creating an entirely new or isolated blockchain, the super chain allows for the construction of interconnected L2 rollup networks and all these OP chains, regardless of base, optimism, OP, BNB, ultimately they share a same tech stack, which is the OP stack. And with this standardized architecture, it actually ensures cross-chain messaging, which allows even NVIR L2 to interact with other prominent OP channels such as Coinbase Base and Binance OP BNB. So it is very exciting to me with regards to this interconnection, just because blockchain technology itself should be something that's well connected, no matter which region you are at, and at the same time, no matter which chain you're on. So it is a vision that we truly believe at NvirWorld. Yeah, so we will have our NHub bridge as well to facilitate, the transfer of Enver from Ethereum to BNB chain and later on to our own L2 rollup and hopefully via other L2 rollups as well. And then we'll be also having this like explorer whereby transparent transactions will be viewable by our holders, by whoever is interested in Enver transactions. So that would be available for users to view as well. And then obviously the status update for across all our products. And then dev docs for those who are interested to deploy their projects on Enver L2. Yeah, so with regards to the roadmap, 2023 has been pretty exciting. So ever since I joined NvirWorld in August last year, I think we have secured a lot of like partnerships with reputable ecosystem partners across different verticals, be it infrastructure, gaming, social, or development too. And we also have established a partnership agreement with one of the tier one Hong Kong-based venture capital fund that will also be providing us with project deal flow and advisory guidance to top tier projects for our launchpad and incubator program. And we're also in talks with Singapore-based CoinSeeker and institution-grade deal sourcing hub. So very excited for that as well. And within NVIR ecosystem, so we are planning to launch the launchpad at the start of Q2, so pretty soon. And then the beta version of our layer 2 rollup by the end of Q2 as well. So should any holders or users have any feedback, with regards to, our launchpad or beta layer 2 when you guys are trying out later, please feel free to reach out to our official team, as well as, if you want, you can always reach out to me as well. So yeah, I thought that the presentation was pretty long, and I wanted to thank everyone for your patience, for sticking through, and obviously gracing this event that'll be shaping the future of NvirWorld. And we also look forward to extract the valuable insights that we have pretty much accumulated since day one, and implement them in our future plans as we continue to build for the community. Sorry for the long presentation, but I thought it was very important to give everyone a detailed update on, what NvirWorld is working towards. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Justin. That was absolutely fantastic. There's no need for any apologies. I think you actually did justice to all there is to know about NV World right now and what you guys are currently working on. And the presentation was absolutely spot on. But we do have some questions for discussion. Why is the NV World team so bullish about the content and application narrative?
Right, right. Yeah, that's like one of the questions that I thought would be, very interesting to answer. So you're right. So why is our team so bullish about the content and application narrative? So, I believe that our team has been pretty spot on when it comes to the broader market narrative. So from 2021 until now, we have seen the gradual improvement in GameFi projects. From, back then it was like play to earn, whereby you have your Exit Infinity, and then now you have your AAA titles like Heroes of Mafia. So, yet until now, what really struck me is the fact that we haven't seen any, social projects that have garnered huge attention from the space, aside from Bilbo, which is the Web3 messaging protocol. So, I believe that a lot of all this like top-notch social graphs, like your Farcaster, Lens Protocol, and some of these social projects out there, a lot of them are still quietly building to ensure that the proposition of sufficient decentralization would disrupt the entire content and application ecosystem in the Web2 space. Over here, I would like to take the opportunity to applaud what Dan Romero, as well as his team at Farcaster, have done since 2021 to advance the social narrative within blockchain. So I'm a firm believer that a social network can achieve, sufficient decentralization if two users can find each other and communicate, even if the rest of the network wants to friend it. So, with this novel hybrid system that combines both on-chain and off-chain system to capitalize on the pros of each, spectrum, it has removed the underlying question mark on how we can disrupt the content and application layer. So that's why, I'm excited to see Farcaster leading the charge in this vertical. And at NvirWorld, we are super excited to see this trend exploding in the near future. And we want to be one of the first mover, in harnessing the content and application narrative. Yep. Thanks for the
Okay,
question.
yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Justin. You've been a brilliant speaker. So, guys, do well to join the Telegram community and also make sure to follow them on X Space. That was a good one. So what offers are there for potential holders for NV World?
Right, right, right. Yeah. So, I love talking about alphas. Yeah. So, with regards to the direct alpha right now, so essentially, when I was going through my slides just now, so I've pointed out that only holders of NVIR token, as well as, our NWX NFT holders, they are allowed to partake in our staking pools to acquire whitelists to participate in the IDO of, renowned projects in the ecosystem that we'll be onboarding later on for our fundraising campaigns. And at the same time, 100% of this net process generated from the advisory tokens for our launchpad or incubator services will be used for buyback as well as burn, so creating a very deflationary impact. And in the meantime, we are also looking into other features that will strengthen our overall token burning mechanism as well. So I think that's something super exciting as we continue to build our L2 rollup. That is something that we'll be keeping in mind, whereby we want to prioritize the burning mechanism within our rollup as well. Yeah, so those two are the very two direct alphas that I can give you. I wouldn't be shilling my token right here, but yeah, these are the alphas that, potential holders or viewers can actually consider.
All right, that's awesome. I think while you were actually giving the presentation, I saw a few details about these questions that I just asked. So I guess you've actually done justice to that. So how is NvirWorld, differentiated from other launchpads like the Chain GPT, the DAO Maker, and also the CDFI?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So, others like ChangeGPT, DAOmaker, Solidify, they have been, absolutely prominent launchpads, in the blockchain industry. And, over the past few years, you have seen a lot of like good projects, listing on, when they before they do their listing on centralized exchanges, they also allocate, some allocations to all these different launchpads. So we believe that these launchpads, obviously they are good, but at the end of the day, a lot of them actually do not have a roll-up system. They are just like a launchpad that is specializing in a certain vertical. Let's say I think we have Citify here, which probably specialize in the gaming sector. So ultimately, yes, if gaming projects, they'll be the best, right? And then ChinGPT, let me just give an example. They might be a specialized, they might specialize in, let's say, the infrastructure layer. That's their competitive advantage. But for NvirWorld, NWS Launchpad, ultimately we stand out because of our layer two system that will be powering the entire ecosystem. And given our interconnectedness with, other protocols and networks via the superchain, projects joining our launchpad can largely benefit from these network effects that are not available on other launchpads. And this might even drive their organic growth going forward. And that's why I believe that, a launchpad together with a native L2 rollup will be highly beneficial for projects that want to join our launchpad. And with good projects joining our launchpads, obviously, our viewers today, our token holders today, or our supporters today will be the ones benefiting from, all these alphas.
All right, we're looking forward to that. It's nice to know that NVWorld actually has a very big difference compared to the other launch pads that we have just mentioned. So NVWorld mentioned about the split security key layer two system back in 2021. So has the underlying technology changed?
Right, right. Yeah. So we actually started to propose the, underlying technology via the split security key layer 2 system back in 2021 to actually try out this technology just because that, we believe that it might be something that is of uh, difference in the blockchain industry. But over the past 2 years of development, what our team has realized and discovered is that there are indeed underlying challenges to this type of development. Despite its novelty as well as increasing awareness of like CBDCs around the world, the fundamental technology has not been widely implemented due to strict regulations in many countries, in many jurisdictions. And at the same time, as I showed the infographic just now, from 2020 to 2023, developers have been building across, different clusters with regards to the ecosystem wise, but all this ecosystem, they are all pretty much interconnected. And with this emergence of, cross-chain framework, I believe that standalone CBDC patented technology in the form of S2KL2 might not fit into the eventual convergence that is amalgamating the different blockchains that are interoperable. Yeah, so basically, the underlying technology has changed, and our team is excited to embrace, the most trendy as well as like the most innovative technology that this blockchain industry has seen in the past few months or even the past 1 year. So I'm super excited to, be announcing the start of our development of Ember L2 rollup, of which it'll be powered by the OP stack. And then with regards to the DA layer, we might be experimenting with Celestials. So that's super exciting to me. And that is what a lot of our other, top-notch projects are actually working on as well. But we have a differentiation just because, we want to onboard the content and application layer. Yeah.
Okay, so we, as you currently work on that, we would be looking forward to that actually coming into reality.
Sounds good,
So
man.
moving on now, yeah, moving on now, we would like to know, how do you plan to, onboard projects to NV layer two?
Right, right. Yeah. So I guess like for any, infrastructure network or, L0, L1, L2, or even L3, the most important question is actually how do you get people or developers or projects to use your network? Right? So we have actually put a lot of thoughts into thinking about the go-to-market strategy. And obviously at the start, we plan to do it via the most organic, go-to-market strategy, whereby we want to leverage our in-house launchpad and incubator to shortlist the best projects to be launched on, NVIR L2 rollup. And also given the fact that there is such, interconnectedness between NVIR L2 and all other OP chains, as well as EVM compatible chains, with projects being super multi-chain focused these days, the entire ecosystem is more collective and supportive as compared to those, standalone chains whereby they are still using tactic of offering big grants with milestone-based incentives to attract projects. I think that is super old school, just because we are moving towards a multi-chain era right now. So in addition, so once NVIR L2 rollup is live, hopefully soon, later on, we'll be hosting hackathons as well worldwide to onboard social and gaming centric projects. So on the business development front, there's also very crucial for us to spot trends happening in the infra layer so that we can be as composable as possible by integrating products from our partners to further improvise on our product to meet the needs of builders out there who are getting more and more innovative every day.
Okay. So I think we are done with the questions from my end, some of the observations that I've actually made. And I really want to say thank you so much, Justin, for taking
Yeah, of
time out to
course.
answer some of the questions from my end and also for the awesome presentation. But I'm going to be asking you, I think, two questions from the live segment, if you have time.
Of course. Let's go for it.
All right, awesome. So the first question said, will NVworld continue to work with more VC and accelerator partners?
Yeah, so we are actually consistently, speaking with a lot of VCs, especially in Asia, but trying to broaden that to North America as well, because, in the US, there are a lot of very strong projects. But right now, we have been speaking with um, I would say, pretty reputable VCs. And one of them that I mentioned just now was one of the Hong Kong guys. And then we are also speaking to market makers, institutional grade project analytics platform to ultimately solidify our launchpad and L2 ecosystem pipeline. So in 2024 Q1, we have been able to do that, via our, even though it's not super much disclosed yet, but we have already secured a tier one based VC as our deal sourcing partner, who will be advising, certain projects on our launchpad as well as incubator. And also, as I mentioned just now, we are also in discussion with CoinSeeker, an institutional grade platform that actually captures all Web3 projects. So I thought CoinSeeker is a super exciting platform just because, they are like your crunch base in Web2, whereby they actually deploy, algorithm based system to source for projects, let's say creating their website, creating a new Twitter account. And that is how, a lot of incubators, a lot of, accelerators, a lot of VCs are using their product to ultimately have the first mover advantage when trying to secure all these partners. So it will be a very helpful one if we are able to secure a partnership with PointSeeker, such that we'll be exposed to early stage projects that are remarkable with a lot of potential, and then onboard them via our incubator or via the launchpad.
Okay, spot on. Still trying to take some questions from the live segment. We're taking about five questions, but let me go ahead and ask the second question. So he said, why did you choose to build your layer 2 using OP Stack as the bedrock?
Right. Yeah. So to me, right, I think two main thing actually stand out. So one of them is your flexibility. As I mentioned, you have the flexibility to switch out your data availability schemes, and at the same time, there is more than one client in terms of implementation, such that we can be flexible in this aspect, and at the same time, we are also able to ensure that decentralization is taking place. So scalability is another reason why we decided to choose OP Stack, just because we have been seeing a lot of use case with regards to scaling your network, onboarding developers via the base case study OPBNB, and we thought that OP Stack has done a tremendous job in terms of allowing developers who are using their tech stack to scale up their own network when they eventually deploy their network. So, over here, I kind of want to talk about something that I came across recently. So I think essentially Mode Network, MODE Network, they are doing their airdrop these days, and then they also make an announcement that they will be utilizing OP Stack to build, their L3 mode flash. And with this L3 mode flash, they'll be able to have a very elevated throughput to target, applications that process like millions of transactions. So I think that's like super important just because, we are reaching a phase whereby we are trying to disrupt or, augment the Web 2 scene, right? And a lot of like all these Web 2 applications these days, they are consuming a lot of data or even, generating a lot of data if you are, let's say, a content creator platform. So at the end of the day, within blockchain, there must be a way to support all these transactions. And I'm super excited about, how OP Stack is being utilized by some startups out there already to come off the new L3s, which I thought would be super super important for our ecosystem to further improve, and it is something super exciting in the near term as well, just because this bull cycle we have been talking about L2s, but I think the next bull cycle L3s might be the main topic of the entire trend. Yeah, so that is something I'm super excited about. And then giving one more example is I'm not sure if you guys heard of like Syndicate. So Syndicate has been, I think they are trying to deploy Farcaster Frames chain. So, recently Farcaster came up with Frames, and user numbers for Farcaster have been growing exponentially just because Frames have pretty much changed how we do, social media. So, viewers out there, if you guys are interested in Forecaster, feel free to go download, Webcast and then register for an account. I think the experience on Forecaster is really exciting as well as like interesting. So, back to like Syndicate Frames chain. So I think they are also using like Optimism OP Stack L3, with like base as well, Coinbase base, to ultimately unlock high throughput as well as, less gas costs for Farcaster frame developers. And then, at the start, all this gas will be free for all developers who are using the Syndicate Frame API. So super exciting just because, from this, two case studies, we can tell that, even though right now, NvirWorld only has planned for a Nvir L2 rollup, we might potentially be able to capitalize on these L3 networks that are, super innovative, super trendy, and obviously something out of the world. No one has done it before. So within this ecosystem, we are sharing resources together. We are building on the same tech stack. So at the end of the day, by joining this, super chain membership, I like to call it, we are able to get access to other projects as well, whereby we can cross leverage on their network and resources, and they can do so similarly on Enver L2 rollup as well. And then this would drive traffic between all these different networks and allowing users to to navigate around the different classes of the ecosystem, and obviously for sure for developers it will be much easier to continue to, innovate, to build, core products instead of like worrying about, unnecessary problems that might arise from, your infrastructure challenges. Yeah, so super excited about, the fact that we are building on OP Stack, and excited to, also be partnering with all these different big players via the super chain.
Yeah, super excited as well. Thank you so much for doing justice to that question, of course. Uh, the next user is asking, you are going to launch the launchpad. So can I buy a token of other projects at early stage?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. What's the question again? I didn't catch like the later part of your question.
Yes, you say you're going to be launching. Since you're going to be launching, say, can I buy your token
Oh,
at
right.
the early stage?
Right. So actually our token has been launched already since like
Yeah.
2021. So I guess like, for those who are interested to acquire our tokens, feel free to check out NVir. NVir is like the ticker symbol on MEXC Big Get as well as our bank. So feel free to check that out. Yep. I wouldn't shoot my token just because it is not a financial advice, as well as I believe that people should do their own research. So feel free to check out our token, and then at the same time, the team will be releasing an updated um white paper soon to document the items that and products that we are building going forward. So bear with us for a little with regards to the documentation that we'll be releasing in the upcoming weeks. But please feel free to keep a lookout for our products as well as our documentation that will be released in the next few weeks as well as the next couple months.
Okay, guys. So for some of you that have taken your questions, make sure that you have already followed the rules that are currently available at Crypto Attack. So the next question is, what is the role of your token, and how do you plan to ensure every token price?
So the utility of our token, yeah. So at the end of the day, like especially when we actually launch our launchpad later on. So with this launchpad, with our token, you'll be able to stake your token, via our staking pools, whereby you'll be able to acquire the whitelist to participate in, launchpad featuring remarkable projects in the blockchain industry. So I think that's like one alpha that could potentially generate consistent growth for the token price itself. But I can't guarantee anything. But based on my own envision, or based on my own vision, that would be something that is very helpful for our project. And then at the same time, for on our end, just because we are helping out with advisory services for these projects, we'll be potentially getting advisory tokens from these projects as well. And 100% of the net profits will be used for NVIR token buyback, as well as being burned later on. And then with regards to the what's that NVIR L2 rollup later on, potentially NVIR token can be used for paying gas fees. And let's say, for example, if you want to transfer your assets from NVIR L2 to another OP chain, you can always use your what's that NVIR token to pay for the gas fees. So in terms of like a lot of people might be wondering, like, would we be allowing people to use our tokens to validate nodes and whatnot? We actually haven't really thought about this yet in terms of the business perspective. Right now we are still planning to release our products. So products first, as well as the mentality of keep building. So we'll be actively building, and at the same time, with regards to all this like business perspective, and with regards to the token utility, more information will be released later on once we are ready with the product.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Justin. It's been so amazing being part of this presentation, and I think it's been absolutely spot on with all the answers that you've given to some of our technical questions and also the basic questions that we've sent your way. So I'll be asking the final question now from the live segment, and then we will draw the curtains. So what is your aim in 2024? The aim of the project in 2024. I think what it's trying to ask is, what are you currently working on 2024? What are you trying to achieve?
Okay. Yeah, so 2024 is going to be a huge year for everyone in the blockchain industry. Why? Just because, in the next 1 month, we are probably going to see, Bitcoin halving. So that's another milestone that the blockchain industry has, achieved since its establishment, in 2018, sorry, 2008. So it's been, many years right now. And, we are anticipating another new phase of entrance. And in this 2024 market trend, it is very exciting just because, over the past 3 months, we have been seeing the listing of, obviously your GameFi projects, your gaming distribution platforms, a lot of all these, gaming application projects going to the market. And at the same time, some networks as well, like Moon Network, they'll be probably going to the market soon. So for NvirWorld, we are super excited about 2024 just because in the next quarter, we'll be potentially launching our launchpad first, followed on by our, beta version of our layer 2 rollup. So that's something that, a lot of, our holders have been waiting for in the last 2 years. So at the end of the day, like for NvirWorld, what we hope to achieve in this year is, we want to get more partnerships with other networks, just because, we are operating on the super chain right now. If we were to launch our Enver L2 rollup that is powered by, OP Stack. And then another goal of ours is for sure to onboard more developers to our platform and then have more utility cases for the Ember token. So, 2024 will be super exciting, whereby NvirWorld will be the pioneering platform, to rewrite the entire social, gaming, content, and application layer with interoperability as well as modularity. And we want to be the first mover in this, vertical, such that we will emerge as the best player to onboard, all these different content and application projects later on, even before the next bull market. So 2024 will be super exciting for us, as well as, a super exciting year for, a lot of others like social graph projects as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Justin. I think with this we have come to the end of the presentation with NVWorld. Of course, this will be a good time to actually give us a concluding statement, perhaps touch on some of those things that we haven't already covered.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I would like to sincerely thank everyone for your, patience, for sticking through and gracing this, monumental event that will be shaping the near-term future of NvirWorld, whereby, I want you to remember that, NvirWorld will be rewriting the content and application layer with a focus on interoperability as well as modularity. So, at the end of the day, we believe that our interoperable modular rollup solution as well as our NWS Launchpad will only continue to streamline efficiency and pave the way for novel interactions within the NvirWorld ecosystem, as well as extend beyond the reach, of outside of the NvirWorld ecosystem. So super excited to have everyone join us today again. And thank you everyone for your continued support. And I hope to see you in our next AMA or any other offline events whereby, we hope to continue our open discussion with our supporters and then gather feedback from the community such that we can continue to improve on our products. Thank you so much for your time, and have a good night if you're in Asia, and have a good day, if you're based in the Europe or the US. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Justin. And on behalf of Crypto Attack, we say thank you for taking time out of the tight schedule to answer our questions. Wish you guys the best for the coming future, and we hope to host you guys again. After all, you said today has been made a reality. So have a good night.
All right, thank you, Max. Thank you, Tim. Have a good one. Thank you, guys. Take care.